At its most pronounced, at its most vibrant, at its most successful is when mentee and mentor are from the most different of backgrounds. Here's a little piece we've found in our little journal. It's the more I feel valued, the more I feel trusted, the more I will go the extra mile for you. We've seen something really small but really amazing that works. 3 years ago, Harvard did an amazing bit of research. It didn't get any general attention. It stuck with us. They said mentees get a 16% career acceleration from a mentoring relationship. We'll get that. Makes sense. The revelation was mentors get a 53% career acceleration from a mentoring relationship. That just stuck with me. And I thought, this I need to see, I need to prove, I need to investigate, I need to research. Me and my team just got really excited. So when we started to analyze it, we realized they were right. But there's a catch here. At its most pronounced, at its most vibrant, at its most successful is when mentee and mentor are from the most different of backgrounds. And what we see with the mentor, they have to create a space, an environment where the mentee feels they can speak up, feels they can speak out, feels they can challenge, feels that they can find their voice, feels that they can talk about anything. They don't have to massage it. That brings a huge onus on the mentor. And we've seen them adapt their styles, move to intentional listening, move to compassion and care, give them a damn good listening to, enable them to speak, not judge them, not intervene, not interrupt. Now we see the mentee blossom in that environment, but we see the mentor blossom even more. They take that behavior that they have to bring to the mentoring, they take it back to their place of work. Then everyone who works for them feels as though they can speak up, they can speak out, feels as though they find their voice, feels as though they can challenge, feels as though they can contribute in a way that's peculiar to them. They don't feel they need to throw their hands up and shout out. They can do it in a different way. They're working for someone with a lot more empathy and a lot more compassion. So here's the advice. You want to bring out the best of all of your people? Get everyone to be a mentee. Get everyone to be a mentor. Watch the world change for the better. So one of the perennial questions we get asked is, mentor or coach? What do I need? What's the difference? Here's the bit you won't forget. Mentor. Get the best out of you no matter where you are. Coach. Get you to be the best version of yourself for the business you're working in. Advocate. Talk you up when you're not around. Sponsor. Get you promoted. That's it. Get you promoted. When we're really lucky, all those four things reside in one person. Sometimes we need 4 different people to do those 4 different roles. But every day ask yourself, do I have a mentor? Do I have a coach? Do I have an advocate? Do I have a sponsor? Go get them. Aim as high as you can. People think, I daren't ask the chairman or the chief executive. Go ask them first. No one dares ask them. They're always available. They'll be chuffed. And if it gets a little bit sticky, try flattery. Works every time. Two completely distinct and separate answers here. By the time we get to my vintage, I've worked long enough that some of the teams I worked with were completely homogenous. And when I say homogenous, not the blunt instruments of race, gender, nationality, no. They all came from similar backgrounds. Whatever similar backgrounds mean. And in each case is different, but all the executive team came from similar backgrounds. Now, I'll tell you what that means in reality. It means decision-making is so much easier and quicker. It means alignment happens instantly. But you know what? The quality of the outcomes weren't so brilliant. Because there was groupthink. We agreed too easily. And the question I started asking those teams, those environments, where are the new ideas coming from? Where are the new ideas coming from? Where are the new ideas coming from? Then we moved to more diverse teams, people from different backgrounds, who saw the world differently, who brought in different perspectives, different points of views. It brought challenge to an environment where there was no challenge before. It brought different thoughts, different opinions, different vibes. It meant decision-making was so much harder. It meant alignment was so much more difficult. It meant leaders had to work so much harder, but the quality of the outcomes. McKinsey's seminal research found there was a 34% financial difference from diverse teams to homogenous teams. That was the case for diversity. Debate over, do not discuss it again, don't waste your time. Homogenous teams just don't work. Shut up, please, that doesn't work anymore. But that's not the argument for inclusion. So let me tell you a story. We did a bit of work with Bentley. Bentley had been out in crew in the northwest of England, out in Lancashire, for over 130 years. Automotive industry giant. 4,000 people in the workforce. Nearly all of them came from the small town of Crewe. It was automotive engineering excellence. And they had a heritage that my father worked there, my grandfather worked there, I'm going to work there. And there was a pride in it. The last generation was the first generation that went off to university. And you know what? Most of them never came back. So for the first time in its history, 70% of the workforce are contract provided by a deco. They're not the lifetime heritage employees who care so much, badge of honor, badge of courage. They're totally different. They're Eastern European, they're Irish, they're South Asian, they're West Indian. They're bright, they're smart, they're hardworking. They want a fair day's pay for a fair day's work. There's no heritage. And they're not going to stay around for 20 years. They're going to move on, they're going to move around. Somehow, Bentley lost some performance in that, out of the diluted loyalty. Adrian, the chief executive, fantastic. Wanders the shop floor, is down on the factory floor. He wondered, how can he get back this loyalty, this heritage premium? He heard one thing one day that just clicked with him. For 130 years, the workforce made their sandwiches at home, filled their thermos flasks, came in and sat down outside in groups and put the world to rights. This generation doesn't make sandwiches at home. They won't bring a thermos flask. They're looking for a prep. Give me a prep. No canteen or restaurant facilities at Bentley. At a time of constraint, they're owned by Volkswagen, he fought the German board, bloody battle, and won the prize of building a restaurant. The day the restaurant opened, it was packed to the rafters. To the absolute rafters, people celebrating. Second day, it's half empty. Third day, it's nearly empty. Why? It's £7 a meal. Not that expensive for the chief executive and the board of directors. A whopping great price for the workforce. He didn't know this. Wandered around again. He was told in no uncertain terms, £7, mate, you're having a laugh. Second fight with the board. It's £1 a meal now. The place is packed to the rafters. What has that done for performance? Here's the inclusion bit. People feel listened to. People feel trusted. People feel included. People have a sense of belonging. What does that mean? They go the extra mile. Let me give you an example. They put a little notepad by their bed overnight. When an idea comes at 3 o'clock in the morning, they jump up and they write it down. They bring it in the next day, they share it with their friends in the restaurant. And guess how they feel? What has that done to performance? Has gone up. Year before last, Bentley produced 13,750 vehicles, a record. A record. Why? Everybody in, nobody out. Inclusion. The argument's over. It's a great question. There's nowhere we go now where we don't get into the AI debate. So here's the first and most important thing. It's a relationship, not a takeover. Don't be alarmed, don't be scared. If you're bold, you might fail. If you're not bold, you will fail. When it comes to AI, you need to be bold. So that's the first thing. It's a relationship. Second thing, don't worry about AI, worry about your competitors. It's about who deploys it better than you. Your job, be there first, deploy it better than anyone else. Be bold. Point 3, it's not a time to be afraid. Fear gets you nowhere. It will replace human drudgery. It cannot replace human brilliance. Remember, your job is to highlight and let human brilliance shine. AI is our tool. And the way we deploy it best is where it assists our people. The last thing, the 2 or 3, we're doing some work with ServiceNow, who are amazing over in the West Coast. They haven't just deployed it, they've enabled it, they've actioned it. Has it led to a headcount reduction? No. It's led to headcount redeployment. Really good people doing really better work in much better conditions and spending less time at their place of work. Everybody wins. This is best done as a story. This encapsulates everything we stand for. Remember, leaders tell stories, managers talk strategy. 3 women working on a building site. Breaking rocks in the burning sun is the toughest work you've ever seen. The journalist comes to the first woman and says, "Why do you do this work?" She says, "I haven't worked for 3 years. I took the first job I could get." Comes to the second one. "Why do you do this work?" "I've got a husband and 3 kids to feed. I took the first job I could get." Comes to the third one. "Why do you do this job?" She looks up proudly, wipes the sweat from her brow, and says, "I'm helping to build a cathedral. I'm helping to build a cathedral." And it might be a temple, mosque, or synagogue, depending on where we are. But she's not doing a repetitive, menial, meaningless job. She's helping to build a cathedral. The role of everyone who listens to me, there's one thing I want you to do. Talk to your peers, talk to your people, talk to your subordinates, talk to your superiors. Catch them doing things right. Nobody is doing a meaningless manual job anymore. Everyone's contribution is helping to build that cathedral. Your job, every day, not once a week, not once a month at the managers' meeting, every single day, every person you meet, convince them they're helping to build a cathedral. Remember what I said? Good leaders create followers. Great leaders create leaders. Treat everyone the way you would want to be treated by your leader. Be the leader you would like to be led